I have once been broke, really broke in fact, but I did manage to escape that. I've also interacted with a lot of people, a lot of wealthy people who were once broke and have been able to build wealth. And there is one thing that I have discovered from all of them, and not only discovered, but I've also personally experienced from my day-to-day life, that in order for you to build wealth that's significant and actually lasts, you must sacrifice. Now, a lot of people have failed to figure this out because of a lot of philosophies and thought patterns moving around in the world today. And because of such a reason, a lot of people are literally struggling with their lives. They're suffering. A lot of people don't feel like they're financially in trouble because the idea of debt lets them hide and make them feel like they're actually financially comfortable. But in reality, they are struggling. If they got an emergency of $2,000, most of them would never handle it. I started practicing this principle in my life without even knowing. For me, I thought that this is normal, this is just how life should be, and it literally changed my life. But after studying a lot of other people and understanding that a lot of people are actually struggling and failing because they fail to understand this, I thought that it's really important for me to be sharing this principle with you. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the one principle about sacrifice that will transform your life forever and ensure that you build wealth and wealth that lasts. So stick around right through to the very end. Now, the one principle which will completely flip your life, transform the way you see and think about things, ensure that you build generational wealth if you properly understand it, is the fact that you must have short-term pain for long-term gain. Now, personally, I do believe that this is a principle that is present and is inherent in the way the world functions. This is a principle that was literally made by God. This is a principle that outlasts all rules in the earth. And the principle is there's always seed time and harvest time. Yeah, there's always seed time and harvest time. Seed time precedes harvest time. You must always plant before you reap. Yeah, if you sow terribly, you're going to get terrible results. If you sow well, you're going to get great results. It doesn't matter who you are. Now, seed time, the time for planting, the time for putting in the hard work before you get results is usually not the most comfortable. You have to put in a lot of hard work. You have to dedicate yourself and understand that you're doing something right now. You're going to give it time. Yeah, that's the way the principle works. Yeah, you put in work, do something about it, just like it is if you're going to be planting a seed or growing a crop. Imagine you're going to be growing a grain of wheat, for example. Yeah, you'll pick the grain, place it in the ground. You know, after tilling and preparing the ground and everything, you'll place it in and give it time. And then after some time, you'll come and harvest and you'll celebrate when you do harvest. Yeah, but the idea is the greater the effort and the greater the pain, the greater the intensity of work during seed time, the greater the results during harvest time. Now, this is a principle that is inherent in the world, but a lot of people actually don't understand it. And so I want to dive a little bit deeper into it. First, I'll give you my personal example. You see, I graduated as a medical doctor over here in my country, in Uganda. And at that time, of course, since I didn't grow up in like a rich family, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, I have reached what a lot of people would consider a dream. Because first of all, I've graduated as a doctor. Secondly, I've got a job, so I'm earning money. And so I can afford a lot of things that I only dreamt about when I was younger. When I was younger or when I was young, the only things I would think about would be, you know, will I be able to have tomorrow's food? Is it even possible for me to go to school? Will I have tuition for tomorrow? And things like that. But now I've graduated, I'm a doctor, I can make my own money. Maybe I don't need to think about all these things. What can I do at the moment? A lot of my colleagues and a lot of my friends at this point are thinking to themselves, well, I've suffered long enough. Now I'm earning, I'm a doctor, let me start enjoying my life. Yeah. And what will a lot of them do? They'll get their money, go and buy the best cars, you know, go and probably start building a house, go and literally start enjoying their lives. And when you look at it from one perspective, it makes a lot of sense. You think to yourself, I've really suffered. I mean, this is the time for me to enjoy. You're probably 26 years of age or 25 years of age, and you think to yourself, well, I've lived the whole 25 years of my life without me getting exactly what I want. Now that I can afford it, I should go outside there and get it. And like I've said, it makes a lot of sense and it could be justified. But that's short-term gratification. Yeah, that's short-term gratification, because as soon as you consume that money, I was earning maybe, you know, $1,000, maybe $2,000. It doesn't matter which country you're in. Yeah, if you do start earning some money, you'll feel like you deserve it. You should celebrate it. Yeah, and what that means is that you start having short-term pleasures. For me particularly, I told myself that I'm not going to have these short-term pleasures. Yeah, at that time I was earning, you know, $1,000, maybe $1,200 when you add on allowances and things like that. That's what I was earning in terms of, you know, my earnings every month. Now, of course, you're going to be thinking to yourself, well, $1,000 for a doctor? Yeah, that is it in my country. Yeah, maybe things have changed right now because I honestly left the profession. I'm not so sure about what's happening right now. But in your country, it could be maybe 5,000, maybe 10,000. It doesn't really matter. Most likely, how much you earn matches the cost of living and the expenses in your country. So for me, I could earn $1,000, but at the time I was earning $1,000, I could sleep in a house of $50. Yeah, most probably you can never find a house where you pay $50 in your country. So you have to earn, I don't know, $5,000. Secondly, I could eat really cheap food, like really cheap food. I just didn't need to, you know, spend all the money on these luxurious things, you know, buying a car and all these things. And so what I decided to do was cut my cost of living to as low as possible, maybe $100, $200 a month, and then save the rest of the money to invest into a business. Yeah, I understood that I needed to sacrifice at that point. And for me, it completely flipped my life around because I started a business. When I started a business, I remember at that time, my grandmother, she was still alive by then, she used to help me run and handle the business. And, you know, she used to handle the money with the business. She was very good at handling money. And at around that time, I remember because I had no means of transport to the farm, a lot of times I would borrow someone's motorcycle. Yeah, I went, did some motorcycle training. When I started borrowing someone's motorcycle, I would pay them like $3, $4 a day. And then I used their motorcycle to ride over to the farm and do some work. And I remember, I think like the third or the fourth day I came with that motorcycle, my grandmother told me that, hey doctor, I don't like the fact that you're starting to come with a motorcycle. You're going to get comfortable with the motorcycle. For me, I want you to have a car. I think you need to buy a car, not a motorcycle. Of course, I just laughed it off. Yeah, but I imagined and I understood, of course, she's my grandmother. She wants her grandchild to have, this beautiful, nice car and all these things. And it could have been quite easy for me to get swayed and pushed with what community thinks, with what my grandmother thinks. But I set it in my head that this would be the wrong decision. Yeah, I'm probably sacrificing at this point and, going through the hard life. But when the time reaches, I'll be able to buy not only a car and cars. Yeah, so right now I've owned quite a number of cars, and I now look at it and it's not something like really fancy or anything like that. If I still want to buy a car tomorrow, I can step outside there and go and buy a car tomorrow. Then, if I just continued that way, for a lot of my colleagues or a lot of other people who started that way by just buying things at that point, if they still want to buy a car right now, they have to save up for months or even a year to be able to afford it. Yeah, I can wake up tomorrow and go buy it because right now I can afford it. So you have to understand that you must sacrifice. There are things that you need to put in. For me, I started a business that now ensures that I can go outside there and do whatever I want while enjoying it. Now, the one principle which is completely killing the world currently is instant gratification. They feel like I deserve it. That's the thought pattern moving around the world currently, yeah? People feel like they deserve stuff that they completely don't deserve. I mean, a lot of times you'll see adverts and people telling you stuff like, hey, buy the car that you deserve, live in the kind of house that you deserve. Of course, it's advertisement, but it plays with your psychology, and a lot of people live this way. I mean, you see people posting stuff on social media, people going out on holidays and telling themselves, well, I deserve to have a good life. I deserve to, spend time at the beach. I deserve to drive this nice car, yeah? A lot of people feel like they deserve these things, but in reality, if you sit down and look at yourself, you honestly don't deserve them. No, you don't, yeah? You don't. You need to tell yourself that you need to earn the right to actually enjoy those things. People are working hard. People are spending sleepless nights to do all that stuff and enjoy that stuff, and a lot of people just feel like they deserve it. And I mean, it's even getting worse for the younger generation. Yeah, people grow up with a form of entitlement, feeling like what their parents own is what they do own. People feel like the world owes them something. People don't want to work and they feel like they should enjoy the things that the world offers simply because they are living, simply because they exist, simply because they are there. No, the world owes you nothing. Yeah, you don't deserve nothing. Yeah, you only deserve that which you have worked for. You only deserve that which you've put in effort for. Yeah, I mean, it's competition all around the world. Everyone is in competition. People are surviving. Everyone is trying to survive and thrive and get to the very top. You need to earn that right, and before you do, you don't deserve anything. That's what you need to understand, yeah? So people, a lot of times you'll find them making noise. I'll give you an example. You'll find it very, very commonly in particular countries where people, for example, pay taxes. A lot of people pay taxes, and then these taxes apparently are supposed to be divided and some of the money given to people who don't work. Yeah, I find that really crazy. The people who don't work get money from people who are working, spending a lot of time and a lot of effort working, and then all they want is to sit down and receive money from those who are working. That's really crazy. Yeah, it's really crazy. The thing is, you get what you pay for. Yeah, you get what you pay for. So you need to put in the effort, and once you put in the effort, then you'll get what you deserve. So stop feeling, that form of entitlement of, I deserve this. I'm beautiful, so I deserve this. I mean, there's a lot of, I would say, confession philosophers outside there. People who will tell you, sit down in your house and tell yourself that I deserve this. I am good. I'm excellent. I deserve this. It's okay for you to say those things because it's the truth. It builds the confidence in you. But if you're doing nothing about it, if you're not putting in any effort to make the world a better place, to help others, to work towards helping others, you only want to be the one to be helped, then you don't deserve anything. And honestly, you do deserve to suffer and you do deserve to lose. So you need to understand that the world owes you nothing. You don't deserve anything. You only deserve something if you put in the effort and honestly earn the right. Now, the other thing that I hear very commonly people saying is, hey, why sacrifice? Why put in all the hard work when we are going to die? What's the purpose? I mean, we're all going to die. What's the whole idea of me spending, 2, 3, 4 years working really, really hard and then I get an accident and die? That's something, and it's a thought pattern that moves around very commonly in the world, and you find it in both young and old people, and so they decide to not work hard and focus and concentrate and just probably go and start doing drugs or taking alcohol or anything they earn. They just spend it because they're like, well, I could die tomorrow. Well, there are two things. First of all, do you find any form of satisfaction in understanding and feeling like your life is a life without purpose? Now, of course, I've read a lot of theories about this, but I'll tell you my personal experience. I won't tell you other people's theories, but my personal experience. Personally, what I feel like is I would rather die early knowing that I have been working and putting in the very best of my efforts to ensure that I do have a bright future, to ensure that my family does have a bright future, to ensure that the world has a bright future. Yeah. If I'm to die, 5 years from now, tomorrow, 10 years from now, 50 years from now, it doesn't really matter. The most important thing is that I felt like for the time that I was actually living and doing stuff, I was working hard, I was trying to help to change the world, I was trying to help to change my family, to ensure that my children, when they do grow up, they do have things that they can depend upon. A built wealth, generational wealth that lasts for them, that they can rely on, and it can completely transform their lives. For me, that's what brings me satisfaction each and every day. I wouldn't be satisfied seated there thinking to myself that, hey, well, I'm changing nothing about the world, but at least I'm happy for now, I'm happy for the moment. No, that's not absolute satisfaction. So you need to sit down and think to yourself, where does the satisfaction come from for you? Yeah, what brings satisfaction to you? But the second thing is, what if you don't die? What if you don't die? You're thinking to yourself that, hey, I won't work hard, I won't put in this effort because I might die tomorrow. But what if you don't die? Yeah, you're thinking to yourself, maybe I'm 30, I might die tomorrow. And then before you know it, you're 60, before you know it, you're 90, and you're living a terrible life each and every day, simply because you couldn't sacrifice 1 year or 2 years of your life to have the rest of your life in a better place. The thing about life is that it's quite interesting, and the way sacrifice works is that it's quite interesting, yeah? You'll suffer for a short time, maybe 1-2 years, but those 2 years will completely impact and change the way the rest of your life is, yeah? If I hadn't decided to sacrifice maybe 2-3 years of my life to put in the hard work then and start getting rewarded later on, I would certainly still be at that very same level, struggling each and every day. But I sacrificed those years, and right now I'm way more comfortable than I could have been, and my life can only become more comfortable in the future because I'm still willing to put in the effort and build on my initial years of sacrifice. Yeah. So what happens if you don't die? I mean, you're just going to live a terrible life for the rest of your life. So yes, that's the main principle about building wealth. You must suffer short-term pain for long-term gain. That's the whole idea. Now, I've made another video about 6 sacrifices that you need to make in order to get wealthy. I mean, I'll leave a link to that video right here. Check it out. It's great. If you've enjoyed this video, you're going to find great and absolute value from that video. Catch you very soon with another video. Lots of love. Bye-bye.